Charging $225 for a basic real estate listing, shooting 4 to 6 homes a week, your annual gross revenue tops out between $40,000 and $70,000. To push past that, you have to fly constantly and never stop hustling. My friend Jasmine texted the group chat last night saying she was going to double her Instagram ad spend to get more leads. But marketing volume is not the bottleneck. The residential market itself is a treadmill. Every client relationship is a one-and-done transaction that has to be re-earned the next time a property hits the market. Compare that to the enterprise side. 10 real estate shoots a month barely keep the lights on, while one single construction retainer, visiting a site bi-weekly at $360 a pop, generates over $12,000 a year from a single client. The ceiling is completely different. Looking at this handbook from Sentinel Aerial Inspections, the text lays out exactly what those enterprise clients are actually buying. They do not care about golden hour hero shots. They want compliance, repeatability, and risk transfer. They need to know hiring you is a defensible business decision, in writing if something goes wrong on site. The text outlines the required mindset shift. To meet that standard, you deliver what is called a compliance packet alongside your photos. It includes your Part 107 verification, insurance certificate, airspace authorization, and pre-flight safety checks. It's a physical product that proves you operate legally. When you consistently deliver that level of documentation, you stop operating as a freelance photographer. You become a registered enterprise vendor. You transition from owning a job to owning a business. Another friend, Dre, sent a link to a $15,000 drone setup he wants to buy. High-end hardware with thermal sensors and mechanical shutters is absolutely required for things like utility inspections or survey-grade mapping. But buying the equipment before securing the contracts is a quick way to burn capital. This section details a major hardware pitfall. If you buy a DJI aircraft, you lock yourself out of specific federal and military contracts due to data security concerns. To work on those sites, you need NDAA-compliant alternatives from manufacturers like Skydio or FreeFly. Regardless of the brand, professional operations demand strict maintenance. This manual explicitly warns against updating firmware the day before a paid job. You wait 3 to 5 days, monitor forums for bug reports, and run a test flight. A bad update over a live construction site is a liability nightmare. The handbook also notes that logging these maintenance checks is mandatory. If an incident happens and you need to file an insurance claim, claiming you think the drone was fine will not hold up. You need a written log proving the aircraft was inspected. A fleet is only as reliable as the systems tracking it. The pilot's operational discipline protects the capital investment long after the initial purchase. Mike, the third pilot in our chat, avoids flying anywhere near the military bases in our area. But complex airspace is actually a massive competitive advantage. It filters out operators who do not know how to navigate the paperwork. Looking at this workflow, obtaining authorization is straightforward if you follow the steps. You use LANC for standard controlled airspace and CAPS for zero-grid zones where approvals take weeks. Because that authorization requires planning, you charge a premium. Adding $100 to $150 for zero-grid locations is standard practice, and clients accept it because most pilots refuse to fly there. Mastering these authorizations builds a reputation. Contractors and property managers stop searching for random pilots and start calling the one person they know can legally get the drone in the air. The biggest hurdle for enterprise work happens before you even submit a portfolio. Large contractors filter out vendors based on paperwork. As seen in this document list, if you cannot produce a W-9, a business license, and a certificate of insurance with a $2 million aggregate limit, your bid goes straight in the trash. To access the $700 billion federal procurement market, that paperwork scales up. This text outlines the requirements. You need an active registration on sam.gov, and you must identify your business using specific NAICS codes, like 541370 for surveying and mapping. You can drastically improve your odds by qualifying for set-aside certifications. For instance, this page highlights the Service Disabled Veteran-Owned Small Business, or SDVOSB certification. The VA aims to award 7% of its contracts specifically to businesses with this status. This is a slow process. Federal procurement can take 12 to 36 months from initial registration to your first awarded contract. You have to run this business development in parallel with your daily operations. But laying that groundwork today prepares you for the upcoming FAA rule change known as Part 108. This section explains the shift to beyond visual line of sight, or BVLOS, operations. Flying without keeping eyes on the drone unlocks massive, continuous missions, like 50-mile pipeline surveys and deep woods utility line inspections. Reading further, BVLOS replaces manual stick flying with pre-programmed waypoint missions. The aircraft uses detect and avoid sensors to navigate around obstacles, while the pilot monitors the automated systems from a remote ground station. When those rules go live, large logistics and technology companies will flood the airspace. For an independent operator, your strongest defense against those heavyweights will be the hundreds of incident-free flight hours you logged under current Part 107 rules. So I gave the group chat their homework. Host A is setting up a SAM.gov profile. Dre is pausing his hardware shopping. Jasmine is drafting a corporate capability statement. The hours spent logging flights, filing insurance certificates, and registering vendor profiles today form the foundation. It is the only reliable way to keep your business flying